Now let's explore freezing panes. Freezing panes means you will freeze your row or your column. If I freeze my top row, you can see that when I move down, my top row is frozen. It's not moving like this. This is very convenient when you are using headings and large amount of data. For example, with a data set like this, when you move down, you lose track of your headings, and then I don't know what this no means or local means, and these no and yes mean. So I will freeze my top row to allow me to keep control of my data. So I will go to view, freeze panes, and freeze my top row. Now when I move down, I know exactly what these yes and no mean because my headings are over here and the first row has been frozen. So this will stay with us all this time. You can also freeze your first column like this. If your first column contains these dates and now you want to keep track of these dates along with all this information. So when you move to your right, your dates are fixed over here like this. So you can see the usefulness of freezing your columns and rows. To unfreeze these, you have to select freeze panes and go to this unfreeze panes option. Select this and all your panes are unfrozen now. To freeze panes from the middle of your worksheet, not just your first row and column, you can select that specific row from these ends or select that specific column. So if I want to freeze the second row instead of the first one, I will select row 3 and then select freeze panes. You can see this dark line over here. This demarcates that my rows above this line are frozen now. Now when I move down, you can see that row 1 and 2 both are frozen while the rest is unfrozen. To unfreeze these, I will select unfreeze panes again. Remember that the pane that you want to freeze, you have to always select the one next to it. So when I was freezing my row 2 over here, I selected row 3 and then selected the freezing option. Same goes with the columns. When I select column C and then freeze my panes, now my pane A and B have frozen, not C, right? So you can see how this is working. Now when I move to the right, my columns A and B both are frozen. So make use of freezing your panes to make it easier for you to work around data sets as large as these. Now let's explore the other options. So new window allows you to open the same workbook in another window like this. You have another file, so you have the same workbook open in 2 places, so you can work like this. But it's more useful when you go to the view tab and you arrange your windows. So you will select arrange all, and this menu over here will allow you to arrange your worksheets accordingly. If you want them to be vertical, you will select vertical and do OK. Now you can see the usefulness of creating this new window. You can open the same workbook in 2 different places. For example, I want to work with this column tortured over here and I want to be working with this column over here, dates. So as these are very far away, splitting these 2 screens like this will allow you to easily work around these 2 columns, and then you can simply close this one and your work will be saved over here, the one you were doing on the other workbook, because it's the same workbook. So you can also arrange your worksheets in a horizontal manner like this, or a tiled manner like this, or a cascading effect like this. You can also split your screen from this option over here. So if I select this cell and then I select split, you can see that I have split my worksheet into two parts. This doesn't mean that this is separate like the way we were doing with freezing panes. We still have our column A over here, and then we have the entire worksheet over here at our right, but our column A has been split over here at this end as well. To unsplit your screen, you will select this option again and the split is gone. Selecting a cell in the middle over here and then selecting split will split your screen in these many parts, and then you can move up and down in all of these. This is again helpful with larger data sets when you have to work with a lot of different columns and rows. So you have a lot of options at your hand, either by creating new windows and arranging them, by freezing your panes, splitting your screens, or hiding your rows and columns to manipulate around your data sets.